And it doesn't matter that she's a full-grown adult woman making decisions about her own body, but because she has a protector and a provider, she's not allowed to make these choices for herself. Hi, I'm Ramat, and today I'm going to be talking about society's definition of a woman. So I'm going to start first by looking at the fact that women, no matter who they are, where you find them, how much independent or dependent they are usually defined by their relationship to the men in their lives. Now, these men are their father, their husband, and their sons. So I'm going to go into each of these categories and talk about them a bit. So the first phase of a woman's life starts out by being the daughter of somebody, where as the daughter, she is owned by her father. She gets her name from her father. She gets her identity from her father. And whatever she does is a reflection of the kind of father and by extension, the kind of home that she comes from. And it's not a bad thing, really. Everybody does come from somewhere and does have a father, whether they're present or not. But someone has a father somewhere, even if they came via in vitro fertilization, whatever. There is a father or a sperm donor, for lack of a better word. But in the cases where there is a father present, this father is expected to be the provider for his child. He's expected to be the protector of his child. And is expected to groom her to the point where he transfers that ownership to somebody. But before that transference, he's expected to keep her pure. He's expected to keep her, holy, chaste, whatever the term is, because by extension, whatever she does is a definition of him or an explanation of the kind of way that he raised her. So if she's the girl who finds, sexual liberation, they saying that he has done a poor job, right? If she's abused, is that he didn't protect her very well. If she's lacking in anything, is that he didn't provide enough for her. So every father tries to make sure that his daughter is ready for the next phase because he's handing over that power to the next person. The second phase of a woman's life as defined by society is the wife phase. Now, this is the part where the father hands over, sort of like a relay race, the power that he has had over his daughter, the power to protect her, the power to provide for her, the power to, provide her to the next person as this chaste, pure, holy person that, moves into the next phase. And then the husband joyfully accepts this person, right? Because he's now taking on the role of protector, provider, and he expects some things in return. He expects that the woman will take care of all of his needs, that the woman would, respect him. She would prepare for the next phase, which is the third phase for her, but that, she lives for him. And what does he do for that? He then confers her status. He gives her his name. He gives her protection. She comes under his wings. He's expected to then, take care of her, provide for her, and do all of that. And she is supposed to respect him, make sure that whatever she does brings him honor, does not disrespect him in any way. And, because now she's no longer a reflection of her father, she's now a reflection of her husband. And this in itself is not a problem. I'm lying. It is a problem. But then, a lot of women think that this is what they want, and it's fine. I completely believe that it's fine that we all choose the paths that we want, and sometimes we prefer a particular thing. And it's fine if that's what you want to do, if this is the life you want to live. There's nothing wrong with that, right? So in this phase, a lot of fathers completely remove responsibility. We have had situations where people say, oh, I'm married and then my husband beats me up, and they go to their fathers and their fathers are like, go back to your husband. And yes, it is weird, but then the man thinks, you know what, in this phase of your life, I'm not your protector anymore. I am not your provider anymore. I'm your father, yes, but you now have a husband who has taken over the protection, the providing, and all of that. And so I have done my bit. So go back to this new protector that you have. Go back to this new person who is your provider and, sort it out. And we have a lot of women who stay in really abusive situations because they know that they can't go back to their first provider, their first protector, who in this case is their father. And the third phase of a woman's life, according to society, is the mother phase. Now, in this phase, she's supposed to extend this new protector's progeny. She's supposed to give birth to children, expand his descendants, make sure that he continues to live on from the children that come out of her. Now, if she gives birth to just girls, people would look at her and be like, oh, yeah, you gave birth. Yeah, you're a mother. But a lot of people will not respect her. Which is why till tomorrow, we have a lot of cultures, a lot of religions that do not consider you as a part of the family unless you've given birth to a son. So the son is the third phase, is the final part of the trifecta, is that, oh, this was the first part of the relay race. This was the second part of the relay race. Then the third part, the handing over, is this part where you become a mother to a son. Because many people do not consider that their generation or their descendants will continue on from the girls they have. They think it is the boys that confer continuation. That you, who is a girl, will go to some other family and ensure continuation for that family, but not for your family. And again, it's how society has defined male-female interactions and male-female relationships. And basically, I have been trying not to say the word patriarchy, but that's just what it is. They have said that the man is the one who continues the family's, race, for lack of a better word, or descendants. That's not a word, but you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, we have these three parts that society expects a woman to be and defines her by. One, the daughter, who is protected by her father, who is defined by her father. Two, the wife, who is now defined by her husband. Three, the mother, who is defined by her son. Having reached these three stages of life, right, society expects women to do a couple of things to maintain the status quo. In fact, we have many religions and many cultures and traditions that insist that if you do not reach, especially the second and third phase of your life as a woman, that you are not a woman, you're not seen as a woman, you're not seen as responsible or respectful or one that should be accorded any sort of respect in society. So if a girl says, I'm not getting married, there are people who would actively work to say, oh, she's a slut. Oh, she's a prostitute. Oh, she's a whore. And if they feel, you're none of this, they'll say, okay, maybe she's very religious, right? And she wants to be maybe a nun, an ustazia, and they're saying, oh, this one, yes, we agree that you don't want to be married, but you should have no sexual relation. You should have nothing that brings the idea of sex to you, because ultimately it still reflects on your father. Because remember, when we talked about it, that the father is to ensure that you are pure and that you are chaste and you are holy, right? So it is that if you must exist without the second and the third phase, you must maintain that purity, that holiness, and that chastity that they have defined you to be. Now, if you do decide, oh, you know what, I want to get married, but I don't want to have children, they will say no. Like, what is the point of getting married? Are you saying you actually enjoy sex with your husband? Because for a lot of people, sex, according to society, is for reproduction. That the woman is supposed to be eager to have a child. And if she says, you know what, I'm not going to have a child, they work really, really hard to ensure that she does have this child. And I've seen so many examples. I am especially proud of Inse Etim, the actress, who talked about her journey to not having children. And a lot of people came for her. No, you are barren. There's no difference from you between you and a man. This and that. And she explained that for her health, for her own persona, she was not going to give birth to children. And people kept on railing and said, you know, even if you don't want to give birth yourself, go and adopt. Because there is this insistence that you must be a mother, that is the essence of you being a woman, that you must be a mother, that the womb is there for you, not to joke. It is so that you procreate and reproduce and help this man that you're with to expand his descendants, to expand his lineage to a new generation. So if you insist, nah, I'm not doing this, it becomes a huge problem, right? Another thing, still talking sexuality, a lot of people insist that a woman must not be openly sexual, especially if she's married to somebody. So we even have religious texts that insist that you should not display affection outside because it's somehow wrong, even though you're married to this person and maybe you love this person and he is now your provider, your protector and all of that, but you must not show affection outside, right? So there are lots of people who insist, you know, when people are married, oh, what is this thing they're doing? Why are they hugging? Why are they kissing? And, you know, you're supposed to bear this mother, this thing where you have no sexuality. But on the flip side, which is the irony, is that you are also expected to be a freak in the bed. Nobody's saying that to you outside, but they expect that, you know, whenever your husband says, I want to have sex, you should be raring and be willing to go. That you must not turn him down, you must not refuse him. Most of the religious texts that we have also says that, you know, whenever your husband wants to be with you, you have no right to say no to him. So if you're supposed to be this chaste person outside, but on the flip side, be this, you know, always ready to go for your husband, the irony comes out, but then we're used to these things. And so if you must exist in this second phase as a wife, you must have the Madonna, complex, holy, chaste on the outside, no evidence of tainting, no talking to another man so it looks like you're having an affair. Don't do anything that brings disrepute to the man. But if you decide this life is not for you, then you must be a whore. Again, with the exception of the maybe the ustazias who refuse to marry on religious grounds. But that if you refuse to be any of these things, you must be a whore, meaning that you are completely useless, you're sleeping with everybody, and I assure you, every man who is seen with you will be assumed to be your lover because you do not have the protective power of this man in your life. Also, as this woman who has reached all of the three phases of life, you must know that your opinions do not matter, that you must constantly defer to the opinions of your husband, or in many cases, your sons. And I want to talk about a story I had read of a woman whose husband died and she had adult sons, right? And then she wanted to date again, and she went to her sons because she felt respectful to them. And she said, look, you're adults. I want to start dating again. Your father has been dead for a long time. And the person, it happened on Twitter, and the person said that he was so disgusted by his own mother and that he was like, why would she desecrate his father's bed? And I was like, what? What is happening? Because in the end, what this looks like is, okay, you must constantly defer to the opinions of either your father, your husband, or your son. And it just makes no sense. Like, society insists that you must do this. Oh, if your husband decides, you know what, I don't want you wearing certain kinds of clothes anymore, you have to cut it. Your pastors will tell you, your imams will tell you, your family members will tell you, some of your friends may tell you, even your women group may tell you, in order to please your protector, your provider, you must stop doing this thing that he says. And so to be this person is also to know that you may never get autonomy again. What am I talking about autonomy? You may never say no if your husband says he wants to have sex. So even if you are angry, even if you're mad at him, even if you're sick, if he says he wants to have sex, you should be willing to have sex. And if you say no, society believes it is grounds for him to go get another woman. Also, if you decide, you know what, I don't want to have babies anymore, it's not your place. Now, something that's happened in my work in family planning is we have seen a lot of women who will go to the hospital and ask for a family planning or a contraceptive method because they were just tired of giving birth year in and year out. And guess what? The health providers would ask them, where is your husband's consent? And it doesn't matter that she's a full-grown adult woman making decisions about her own body, but because she has a protector and a provider, she's not allowed to make these choices for herself. So these are the problems that we see with women who go through these phases. But what can women do? I think one is to maintain the status quo. Why do I say that? Because for a lot of people, it matters that they live that way. It matters that they choose to be chaste and holy and whatever it is for their fathers. It matters that once they marry, they are conferred with a status of Mrs. or whatever it is that you use to describe a married woman. And it matters to them that they have sons and sons who can make decisions on their behalf. Now, I was going to say this earlier on, but I sort of forgot about it. A friend of mine had her father died, and then they were going to make decisions about what was going to be done. And then his sisters came. His sisters were much older than him, came into the room, and they wanted to talk to the traditional rulers and whatever. And they said, no, we do not talk to the women in the family. We talk to men. So in this case, the mother and her daughters who were older were completely ignored because they had a son. And so the son had to now speak for the family. And for them, they saw it, oh, this is our culture and it's fine. And which is why I say, if you are for maintaining the status quo, that's fine. There's no problem with it. But on the flip side, there are a group of people who are saying, you know what? No. My reputation is my reputation. It's not my father's reputation. If I do bad, it is Ramat who has done bad. It's not my father who has done bad, right? So if I am not holy or chaste or what have you, it is on me. And I choose to live that way, right? And then some women are saying, you know what? While I want to be chaste and holy for my father and respect my father's name, I don't want to get married. A lot of women are beginning to say that. They're saying, I am not getting married. And even more common, yes, get ready to be shocked. A lot of women are saying they do not want to have babies. So you can decide, I want to maintain the status quo, and that's fine. To be honest, it's fine. It's what you want to do. And if you also decide that, look, I want to buck tradition, I want to buck religion, I want to buck societal standards, that is fine too. So we need to get to that point where we learn to let women define themselves for themselves. We are tired of society's definitions for us. For some of us, it is a burden on our necks. It's like saying, oh, Ramat, you need to be this. And I'll be like, nah, nada, niet, no, not going to happen. This is who I am, and I want to define myself for me. And it should be fine. There shouldn't be compulsion in the way that we express ourselves in this life. And heck, nobody knows when you're going to die. Nobody knows when you're going to stop being in this earth, right? So how about you choose the path that you want to follow for yourself? If you want to be a mother, if you want to be Madonna, if you want to be the whore, whatever it is you want to be, you can define you for yourself, or you can let society define what it means to be a woman for you. So I've come to the end of today's episode. Yes, it is a rant. I always say it at the end of all of the episodes. But what do you think? Do you agree that society's definition of a woman should be maintained right across board? Or do you think that people should be allowed to define themselves for themselves? So I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Just let's talk about it, share your thoughts, and we can always have respectful, even though maybe different views on this topic. We are across various social media platforms, so please watch to the end so that you can learn where we are and where you can find us and have these conversations across our multiple digital media platforms. It's hugs and kisses from Ramat. Bye, yeah.